My first surge of emotion in years. For as long as I can remember. And it's loneliness. Do you see? A heart is just pain.
Pain is being human, Xemnas.
Really? It must take incredible strength.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to Big Truth TV. I'm your host, Big T, in the house, back again, still 10 out of 10. Here on Big Truth TV, we talk about the hard-hitting topics very few have the courage, the perception, or the stamina to talk about. But luckily for you, I do. So without further ado, let's get right into the topic of this video. The criminal truth about depression and anxiety, Part 2. The stolen solution and the secret subversion. So, there's a series of topics and points I want to go through on each part of it. The stolen solution, there's a set of topics, and then there's the secret subversion, another set of topics. So, the first part is there's the mentality. In the first video, part 1, I went into very specific detail. So I'm not going to go through it here, I'll just go through a little bit of it. Ultimately, and if you don't understand this part, you won't have the mental agility to understand the rest of it, because you will be in a victim mentality. So again, that's part 1. That's where I'll go through in part 1. So really, the first topic of the stolen solution is your mentality. So the next point, which is this is when we're talking about the solutions. The stolen solutions that have been stolen is health and fitness. So when you exercise, when you lift weights, when you play sports, anything like that, you release endorphins in your brain. That's gonna make you more. That's gonna make you happy. It's gonna give you more vitality. For example, if you always, as the saying goes, motion creates emotion. So in order to create emotion, you need to get physical, get active. So if you're an able-bodied person, you should always be aiming to do this. Yeah, so that's if you're not able-bodied, obviously of course, like again, still emotion creates emotion. So get involved in anything you can, community, get involved in the community, a hobby, an interest. And the secondary benefit is, of course, when you are healthy, are physical, are working in the gym, are keeping fit, you're gonna be getting closer to the body that you want, if that makes sense. You're gonna lose fat, you're gonna put on muscle, and that's gonna be a major key in eliminating depression and anxiety. So the second point is purpose. Many people are wandering around without a purpose. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're here on this earth. They don't know what their calling is, essentially. They don't know their purpose. And in order to eliminate depression and anxiety, is you got to find your purpose. You got to find what you want to do, how you want to do it, and get to it, essentially. Ways to find your purpose is think about when you was young, think about when you was a kid, and what interest you had as a kid, and see if you can rekindle that passion you had, or thing you might already know, because deep down we all know what our purpose is. It's just you've got to have the courage to essentially jump in and take it. That's your purpose. And once you're on your purpose, you're gonna have a reason to get up every day. You're gonna have a mission So find your mission. You know, there's loads of people who talk about this. If you can find your mission as well and your purpose, and yeah, that's another major topic. The next point I want to go over is your value. And a good analogy for finding your value is to think of yourself as the main character in your movie. The main character in your movie. Many people go around thinking, believing they're not the main character, like they're not even the secondary character. They're like the extra, or even worse, they're not even a part of the story. They're not even in their own story. So, and that's where you're going to derive your value from, using that analogy. I personally use that analogy. I always think of myself as the main character. I don't let anyone else try to take my value or take my trying to demoralize me or any way, like shape or form, or any situation for that matter. So yeah, your value is going to help you. It's going to give you better self-esteem. It's going to help you find your purpose. It's going to help you seek to be healthy. And then the other topics as well, other points as well, and the other topics is going to help you break away from the subversion. So that's another major key, a major point. Your value as a man, as a woman, as a person, as a human being. Many things today are trying to take away your value. Many trying to take away your lower your value, essentially. So another key point there. The next point is financial. That's gonna. They always say money can't buy happiness and things like that, and all these cliches. And the thing is, I'm not gonna say money does buy happiness or anything like that, but you need to be at least working towards trying to find financial solutions. Yeah. So you don't want to be in a situation where money or things like that is going to be a problem for you and going to be another added issue. You know, we're all working towards this, and you know, if you're not there yet, that's okay. But you got to keep going and trying to find your way to make financial solutions and get look and research and find ways and improvise essentially. So that's another major point there. The next point is your spirit. When I say your spirit is your not it is a mentality in your mind, but your spirit and what you believe, your philosophy essentially. You got to start looking at the world and not just looking at yourself as one entity. Obviously, that's what you have to do, but in sense of, you know, a saying that I like is you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So that's what I mean by when I think spiritually. You got there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of spirits that are going to try to subvert you off the path, that are going to try to take you away from your purpose, take away from your health, take away from your value, and take away that you're the main character of your own movie in your own life. So, and if that's a success, if they're successful, it's gonna look, a person with a strong spirit isn't gonna be tricked by that. So that's all I want to say about that. I might make another video going into more detail about the spirit and things like that. But for now, find the ways to increase your mental strength and your spiritual strength as well. The next one is quick one is going to be social. Many people don't. Reason why most people have depression, anxiety is because their social skills are simply lacking, and it's difficult. So many people have it's going to be people have sort of a natural aptitude sometimes, and it's very easy to be this like a social butterfly. Other people it's going to be they might have even disabilities and things like that. It's going to stop them. So we all start at different playing fields, so to speak, but there are ways to improve your social skills, even when you're out and about or whoever you're talking to. You know, always try to strike a conversation, and you know it's difficult. It's very difficult, but social most people are like, even their word is the social anxiety. When they get into a crowd, they feel they're stifled. But yeah. So there's many things. I mean, it is a difficult topic because again, your life is mainly relationships. You know, there's a big part of that's a big part of life. You know, the relationships you have, and that's gonna impact all of the other points. So again, social skills is extremely important. So that's it for the stolen solutions that many people don't think don't think that matters. They don't think it applies to them, and then they're usually in a victim mentality. And then when you suggest these things, it's like, well, you know, it's not that important. But listen, this is what we have. This is how, if you want to break out and eliminate depression and anxiety, this is what you got to do. So the next topic is the secret subversion. This is very important. Yeah. So again, mainstream media, society, other people will tell you that when people with mental illnesses or people who are depressed or people who are suffering from anxiety, they're like the other. They're like something strange, something different, something we should just shun from the community. When the truth is that we all suffer, not all, well, at some point we all have anxiety, we all feel a bit sad or feel a bit depressed or whatever it is. Yeah, it's it's part of the human experience, and a lot of things in the media, like when they portray someone with mental illness, or it's always like it's something going on. It's like they have an addiction, or and in cases that is true, but um, yeah, they always portray it in the worst way possible, and it's like the other. Like when I say the other, it's like something that's, oh, they're just, you know, we don't know what's wrong with them. You know, it's like a group think type mentality, and it's just completely wrong, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We are very logical species, but also emotional species. We're also social creatures. So again, don't let it's simple. Divide and conquer. It's as simple as that. So the next point I wanted to go, next point of the secret subversion is when you look at poor countries. Poor countries. When I say poor countries, I mean, let's say, for example, I live in the UK, and I'm talking the countries that are in the West, the countries that are outside the West. You know, they don't have the facilities and things like that. And when you talk about depression, anxiety for those places, it's virtually non-existent. I mean, some of these countries, people are struggling to put food in their plates, water. You know, it's very, you know, tough situations for them, and it's tougher situations that countries in the West have to go through. And you don't really hear about depression, anxiety, because there it's because I don't want to say it's not real. Depression, anxiety is real, but it's manufactured. It's been induced in our society, you know. So it's like people envy their neighbors. People are, you know, not always, is jealousy and things like that, and is always the grass green on the other side, and we're always put to work. We have to work. It's the rat race, yeah. And then let's say in our country, you know, people like, for example, like Thailand, or places in Africa, or places in the Caribbean, or places in etc. You know, in places in South America, you know, people just chilling. They're just on the beach. Obviously, you have to work. They have problems. They have stresses, but there's not the rat race. There's not the intensity in that. But of course, there's obviously pros and negatives. Well, most people, if you want to go get a good job and where the money is essentially in the West, right? But I mean, I don't get into too much into that. But in these countries, no one talks. Is always a it seems to be a issue in the West, but it's not an issue in these other places, even though they're in tougher conditions. So it's something food for thought. If you never thought about that before. The next point is the limitations of a human. We all have limitations. We all have limits. We all have weaknesses, right? And there was the great George Carlin. He's a comedian. He had a great piece on skit or whatever you can call it. Is you know how they used to talk about um people from the war. It was shell shock, and now it's gone to shell shock to another thing, and then it's PTSD. And I'm not having a problem with how medical professionals label their conditions and things like that, but it's but what's happened is this subversion is to make it seem like it's just like some medical condition, it's just like some sort of thing you can catch or whatever. It's not a part of the human experience. It's not a part of the limitations. We all have limitations. We all have weaknesses, and it's something that you shouldn't forget. It's something that you know that we all have to take in consideration. And as you get older, as you go through, as you get more experiences, you're gonna have a better grasp on who you are as a person and what you can do and what you can't do. So it's a very important topic, very important point, I should say. So the next point I want to talk about is similar to, and it kind of ties everything together, is the human experience. Buddha once said that life is suffering, and it doesn't mean that life's always going to be suffering, but life is going to be, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and and think about a good analogy or good mental exercise to think about this is when you was a kid, or when think about when you went to the park, or think about when you was a child and you was very happy to do something, go to the park, Christmas morning, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, or maybe it was your birthday, whatever it is, that childlike happiness, yeah, that's not going to happen too much when as you get older, you know. It's going to have many reasons. First reason is that there's less novel experiences that you have as an adult, but the second point is that life is suffering. It's not going to be that childlike joy, and the society and mainstream media wants to feel that you always have to be in that perpetual state of joy, which is just ludicrous. Really, happiness comes from being content. You have your health, you have your family, you have your friends, you have people that you care about and things like that, and your purpose and all the other topics I went over in the first point, your health, your purpose, your value, your finances, your spirit, your social networks and things like that. That's going to be what's going to keep you content, and that's what's going to keep you happy, and that's what's going to keep you moving forward in this world and away from depression and anxiety, because ultimately depression and anxiety is just stagnation, or going backwards, essentially. So that's the two topics I wanted to go over in this second part of the criminal truth about depression and anxiety. I may revisit this topic later in the future, but for now I did the best I can. So wrapping it up now, thanks for watching this video, and hope you like and subscribe, and watch the other videos I have. And that's all I got to say. Take care and peace out.